I usually have these I have friends that are actually into tech, uh, that are actually around me. And so when I started design, what I usually do was I share some of my designs with them, and then at that point they usually compliment me, and they tell me, Mary, you're really doing fine, designs are great, and all that. But self-doubt actually clouded me at that point in my life. And so whenever I'm being complimented, I really don't take it deep or serious or feel appreciated. Like, I don't appreciate myself enough. And with this, I actually found it difficult at that point in my life to actually apply for jobs, because I felt I'm not enough. Okay. So whenever I see job posts, for instance, I want to tick all the dots, all the requirements that have been listed there. I want to tick them all before I actually apply for a job. And then that was a very and serious big problem. And so fast forward to a day on LinkedIn where I posted one of my design, and a senior designer I've always looked up to um, reached out to me because of that design, and asked for a collaboration. And you all know that feeling of a senior designer and someone you've always looked up to, and reaching out to you for a collaboration. You that has actually felt like you're not enough, your designs are not there yet, and for that sole reasons you can't actually apply for a job, and a senior designer is reaching out to you. you know at that point I actually saw myself in a different light. Okay, I saw myself in a different light. I was sort of proud of myself, to say. And I asked my mentor, I explained this to my mentor, and my mentor, she told me it's actually imposter syndrome. So as we can all see on the screen, you can see I call that imposter syndrome the villain. All right. So with that imposter syndrome, you can't grow. You can't grow. All right. So I was unable to grow. I was unable to go further. I was unable to conquer my fears. I was unable to see through that, yes, I am actually really good. And the clearest me, it's now fully aware of imposter syndrome, which is the villain here. And so I'll quickly let us in what imposter syndrome is. Okay. So basically, imposter syndrome, it's a common experience of feeling like a fraud, that feeling of inadequacy, despite the clear evidence of success, the clear evidence of achievement you actually have. You can really see that, yes, this is it. You are making that progress, but you are not accepting it. Okay. So basically, that's what imposter syndrome is. And before I'll go further to explain how you actually work on it, the strategies in which you can tackle it and build your confidence, I would like to let you in on 6 signs, all right, for you to be able to know that you have imposter syndrome. And I'm very sure some of us might actually be experiencing one or two in our lives, but we've actually not pointed it out and say, okay, this is imposter syndrome. But in this training, I'll be able to point all of those out for you, so that today, when you're going back home, wherever you are, or to your system to get started with work or whatever it is that you're doing before you actually joined this training, you'll be going with a different you. Okay. All right. So one of the 6 signs I want to point out, and these are things you hear every day, but you've never for once taken it serious. And one of those signs are, you don't think you deserve your success. So from the beginning of my story, I explained of how my friends complimented me on my designs, but I didn't acknowledge it. Self-doubt actually clouded me, and so I didn't really see through that. Okay, it's something I should celebrate. Of course, it's a big deal. Why should I not celebrate it? Even though it's one screen of design I actually did, I put so much effort into that one screen, and so I really deserve it. Little success. Once you start appreciating little success, you will learn how to appreciate greater ones when they come. So, number one sign to know that you have imposter syndrome is you don't think you deserve your success. Number two, you're a perfectionist or a procrastinator. All right, so at some point, I found myself redesigning and redesigning and redesigning. You know, that point where you design and design and you feel, ah, no, it's not what you want. All right, but when you show it to others, they feel like, okay, this is actually great. Okay, this is actually great. But you know, it's that feeling, you want everything to be perfect, but nothing is perfect. You can actually do enough, but nothing is perfect. The third one is you're afraid of being exposed as a fake. And there are so many times that I've actually posted my designs, especially in the past. There was a time I got into a conversation with a friend, and the friend happened to know me also on Twitter. A friend happened to be following me on Twitter, and there's a comment the friend actually made that, you know, I think discussing it in this training would be really relatable. This friend of mine actually told me that a friend of sorry. All right, so this friend of mine actually told me that um and as far whatever it is I am actually putting out there is real and genuine, and I can actually speak for it. I can actually defend myself, and I'm not just cloud chasing. You know, that was one thing the friend of mine actually said. Okay, so why am I saying this? It's just shining clarity on you're being afraid of you're afraid of being exposed as a fake. As we all know, there are a lot of people that actually steal designs. There are a lot of people that post things that they actually can't defend out there. uh, and so basically that is one thing you have to consider. And as far you're not doing any of that, and you're improving yourself continuously, you know, trying to get better regardless of the design you actually post at the moment, you don't have to be scared of being exposed as fake. All right, you don't have to be, because you are at the point in your life that you should be at the moment, and at that moment you should celebrate your win. And your win is that you designed that screen or that screens, and you should be you're actually complimented on it, and you should accept it regardless of whatever the future is going to bring, whatever challenges it is. When you get to that road, you're going to cross it. The fourth sign that you have imposter syndrome is you fear failure. All right. All right. So I've heard so many people say that they are scared of poverty. And so it's that same feeling. All right. The fear of failure. You're scared of you're failing. All right. So that's one sign again to show that, okay, yeah, you have imposter syndrome. Another sign is you need to be the best, especially when you are the best. All right. Or you don't want to use, you feel being the best is actually too much of a word, and you want to use the word better, because I think better is okay. There's always room for you to want to grow. But for now, I would just say best. So when I say you need to be the best, especially you are a winner already and you find yourself amongst winner, you know, you feel overwhelmed, because you know that, okay, you start questioning yourself, am I up to these people? Can I really prove myself amongst them? They seem more than me. Are you sure I can actually handle them? So basically, those little fears and all that of you wanting to be the best, you've not even been given the chance, but you're already overwhelmed. All right. So the sixth sign is you constantly compare yourself with others. I don't see any human on the surface of the planet that likes others comparing them with other people. Nobody loves to be compared. And so, at a point where you find yourself comparing yourself with others, then just know that at that point you actually have imposter syndrome. So basically, those are the six signs that shows that you have imposter syndrome. And all right, so I hope you're excited to be here, and it's fine. Very soon we are all going to be done, and I'll welcome your answers and questions on imposter syndrome. And thank you all once again for being here. So I'll be discussing the strategies on how to tackle imposter syndrome and build your confidence. And so one of the strategy is for you to recognize and acknowledge your feelings. And basically that's the first step in dealing with imposter syndrome. And that first step is for you to actually recognize and acknowledge that you are experiencing it. And this does not just, it's not pointing only to imposter syndrome. It's pointing to whatever challenges you have in your life, whatever difficulty you're actually going through in life. The first thing you have to do is to recognize and acknowledge. And the moment you do that, it's more like, okay, problem half solved. So if you can recognize and acknowledge your feelings, then you've actually solved half of your problem. And the second one is you reframe your thinking. And reframing your thinking is basically instead of focusing on what you don't know or what you want or what you can't do. You can't do, yeah, what you don't know or what you can't do. The most important thing is at this point is for you to focus on your strengths and accomplishment. At some point, we've actually accomplished something, achieved something that we are most proud of. So this is the point where you have to focus on it. Feed your fears, feed your doubts with those accomplishments, with your strengths. Write down, if possible, you write them down. All right, write them down and revisit them when you're feeling self-doubt, when you are down. Reframe your thinking by reminding yourself that you deserve to be where you are and that you are capable of handling challenges that come your way. Okay. And the third one is for you to talk to someone. All right. Talk to someone. And it can be helpful to talk to someone you trust, not just anybody, please. All right. Not just anybody. Talk to someone you trust about how you're feeling. You share your experiences with a mentor, with a colleague, or even a friend who can actually offer you support and perspective, who can actually be there for you. You know, they may be able to offer you advice, feedback, or reassurance that can actually help you feel more confident. Okay, so the fourth one is practice self-care. Self-care is very important. Personally, I don't joke with it. All right, I don't joke with it, and not just every year I do that. It could be the quarter of the year. I try as much as possible to spend time with myself, you know, to align my goals, my purpose. Why am I doing certain things and why I should stop doing certain things? So self-care is not about spending money alone on yourself. It's not about reading books. Self-care is also about spending time with family. All right. You spend time with family, spend time also with yourself too. Anything that's going to make you physically and mentally fit. anything that can make you feel confident and capable. All these things, you have to do them. You make sure you're getting enough rest, enough exercise, and you eat healthy food. Okay, you practice mindfulness and meditation to reduce stress and also improve your focus. And also you engage in activities that you enjoy, and basically that will make you feel good about yourself. All right. So the next one is seek out opportunities for growth. And seeking out opportunities for growth is one thing that can actually beat imposter syndrome hands down. All right. I think the more you want to grow, the more you test to grow, the more you hunger to grow, the more, you know, as far you've acknowledged and recognized you have it, and then you're seeking this opportunity to grow, to build yourself, to be that version of yourself that you can actually be proud of, and that you want people to see. I think it settles everything. So you challenge yourself by taking on new projects, or learning new skills, and that this can actually help you build your confidence and reinforce your abilities. So I would say you shouldn't be afraid to ask for feedback or help along the way, and which I know a lot of people who are very bad, in doing. So many people are bad in asking for help. All right. And most especially for feedback. You don't, no one is attacking you. You Growth comes with criticism. It comes with everything put together. You're not expected to hear something good all the time. So you learn how to consume all of this feedback, be it negative or positive. You learn how to consume them, and then use them to change your life. So remember that everyone has room for growth. Everyone on the surface of the planet, everyone's seeking out opportunities. Okay, you all have room for growth, and it's basically a sign of strength, not weakness. You shouldn't see it as a sign of weakness. It's actually a sign of strength. And the sixth one is you should celebrate your successes. Okay, all right. So like we said, you having a feeling like a fraud, or you feeling inadequate. All right. Regardless, you're seeing it. You're seeing your designs. If you notice early this year, beginning of this year, January, I made a tweet. All right, saying that, oh, now I have finally acknowledged that I am actually good in this thing called design. So that is where the self-care comes in. You need to learn to spend more time with yourself, and be there for yourself, most especially. And when you successfully see growth coming into your life, celebrate your successes. Celebrate it's what you are your biggest cheerleader. You have to celebrate you so that other people can be able to celebrate you. Okay, so basically, I would just be closing today by saying that remember that overcoming imposter syndrome is actually a journey, and it probably would take time and effort for you to build your confidence. It's not impossible to overcome imposter syndrome rapidly, but it's important to learn and know how to recognize it when it arises. Okay, and for sure, helping. I would say this to every one of us out there, regardless. It might be you going through that phase. It might be a friend of yours going through that phase also. All right. So helping our friends, our family, and co-workers, we actually enable us to, you know, confront these lies. All right. It will help confront these lies. So what I would say is that we have to learn to be patient with ourselves, and celebrate each small step, each and every small, no matter what, even though it's a pen you drop down, celebrate it. It's very key and very important. And basically that's all. Thank you very much.
Okay, so Mary, thank you so much for this amazing session. Thank you for how you gave us the signs and symptoms of imposter syndrome. And I just realized that this is what there is nobody that does not have this. And you cannot deny that you don't have imposter syndrome. Now, like everybody has at least one or two of these symptoms that you mentioned. So thank you so much. So okay, we already know the drill. You're already celebrating our speaker in the text elsewhere. So thank you to everyone. Thank you to everyone for dropping the emojis. Thank you again, Mary, for the amazing session. So before we go straight to the question, I already wrote some questions here. um I already wrote some questions here that I would ask, just so that as we're preparing to drop the to type ask and type out our questions. I'll just ask some questions that'll help us prepare. Oh, I can already see people raising their hands. Okay, let me ask then. Victor Adebayo, good evening. How are you doing today, Victor?
I'm
I can see
fine.
you raising your hand.
Yeah. Good evening.
Okay. So you want to ask a question?
Yeah, I want to ask a question.
Okay, please go ahead.
All right. Thank you, Mary, for the nice session. I really appreciate it's encouraging and enlightening. Yeah. So my question is now, what is the yardstick, or what is it you can use to gauge your success? That is the first thing. Like, how can you gauge that you are improving? What are the yardstick you can use to measure your progress so far? And the second is it now you talk about comparing yourself with other people. So I want to ask, so is it technically wrong, like me seeing admiring someone's work and always trying to compare yourself with that person, that okay, if this person can do this, I should be able to do this. So that's my question.
Okay, so I would say, sorry, remind me of the first one again.
Okay, I said, what is the yardstick? What can you use to measure progress?
Okay, so I would just say that there's no metric on ground to measure progress. But from your second question about me stating my last point of knowing that one of the sign of knowing you have imposter syndrome, comparing yourself with others. Comparing yourself with others is not something positive. There's difference between you looking up to somebody, and there's difference between you actually comparing yourself with someone. Do you know the feeling of chasing after someone and you just can't catch up to them? You get exhausted.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Halfway you get exhausted. It has actually happened to me, and so I know what it means. So comparing yourself with someone is not the goal. Yeah, but you can. There is somebody I actually admire so much in the design community, and this is a lady, and she has so many years of experience that after the few months I ran after, I felt so exhausted. When I mean running after her, does not mean I was chasing her via DM. No, I'm seeing her designs, and I just want to be like her. And meanwhile, I'm just starting out design, and I'm not half the number of years she has been in design, but I just want to be like her. So you definitely get exhausted. Okay. So you at that point you have to sit and rethink, re-strategize, and take things a step at a time. All right. So basically, like I said earlier, there is no metric on ground. All right, engaging your successes. So what I will just point out here is you have whatever field you are, whatever career you're chasing, you have people that have actually been ahead of you in that field. All you just have to do is look up to them. All right, look up to them, see how far they've gone, and break their source. You probably, maybe by the time you catch up to the current one that you're trying to catch up with, they've actually moved to another one, but that shouldn't be your problem. You can just pen down, okay, this is what they are doing, and in this or so months, or in 6 months, I want to be able to achieve this. You set it for yourself. It's now in your court. All right. The ball is now in your court. You set it for yourself. And you can even put 2 years, you can put 12 years. It's all up to you. All right. Toss the metric around how you want. But most importantly, make sure you're doing everything possible to actually grow. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma.
Okay, thank you, Mary, for answering that question. Thank you so much. So next up we have Raymond. Raymond, I can see your hands up. Would you like to ask a question?
Thank you very much for the opportunity, and thank you, Mary, for the knowledge you shared with us. Um, Imposter syndrome has been one of those things that I've dealt with for the past few years. Um, so I'll most likely call myself a very chronic perfectionist. So I understand what it means to be a very terrible imposter. Um, but I also recently discovered that just like you made mention when we were talking that you need to assess yourself. So at the course of assessing myself, I also discovered that part of the things that contributed to my imposter nature was due to lack of skills, right? So my question would be, where do you draw a line between the just being a terrible imposter and being an imposter because you actually lack the skills that you you should have to be a better person. Let's say, for instance, you're a designer and you see yourself, you know, not feeling adequate, and but the truth is that you're not feeling adequate is not because of your perfectionist nature, but because of the lack of skills and knowledge that you should have to become a better designer. So I don't know if you understand my question, and I just wanted to maybe hear your own view about that. And what would you say it should be the place, the common ground where you can draw a line and also um, identify that yes, this imposter nature of mine at this point is because I lack this skill, or is it just because of my inability um, to celebrate my efforts and growth? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Raymond, for your question. So basically, I would say that imposter syndrome comes from a place of lack. All right, there's something lacking, and so you don't feel confident in yourself delivering. All right, so in your own case, you even made emphasis on skill. All right, so that means that it's simple. You can talk, right?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
As far you and so that means you only lack one more thing. And the thing you lack here, and it's causing the imposter syndrome, which probably might not be imposter syndrome, is the skill. All right, so what do we do now? All you have to do at this point is to learn. And when you're learning, you meet people that's actually been in that field before you. It's either you pay or you have them around to put you through, to answer your questions if need be. All right. So you have to feel that void. It's a void. It's you feel it's imposter syndrome. It probably might not be imposter syndrome. You can only tell when you're done learning the skill. And then the feeling that comes after you learning that skill would tell if you're actually feeling you actually have imposter syndrome or you don't have imposter syndrome. So I don't know if that actually answers the question.
Yes, sure did. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay, thank you, Mary, for answering that question perfectly. So next up we have Augustine. Augustine, I can see your hands up. You can go ahead to ask your question. Augustine, can you hear me? Can you hear us? Can anyone else hear me? I don't know if it's just from
Yeah,
Augustine's.
You can hear you. Yeah, you
Okay,
can hear you.
okay, so Okay, since Augustine is not here with us, it seems Augustine is not here.
I'm,
So
I'm here.
okay, you can ask your
I'm
question.
here now.
Okay, you can ask your question.
Okay. Um, I don't know if it's more like a question, but I imposter syndrome is something that I still battle, and the thing that has led to other things like lack of confidence, and then um and it also made me miss out on opportunities because okay, I feel that I cannot do this stuff. So how do I then another one is professionalism. How do I break out from there trying to make things perfect? I notice that most times I end up not finishing things because I'm trying to adjust, trying to adjust, and I end up not doing it at all. So how do I build, let's say, the courage or competence and break out from this? That's just my question.
Okay, thanks, Augustine, for that. All right, so I would like you to take out the word perfection from everything, because I, as a person, I believe there is nothing on the surface of the planet that is actually perfect. So in the course of you trying to chase perfection, you tend to drain yourself. We're not trying to chase perfection here. We are trying to be better as much as we can. Okay, so have you heard the saying that the talker rules the world, right? So I can totally relate to the point you actually listed. One, it's not enough having skill. You have to be able to talk. Like for instance, you have a design. You have to be able to defend your design. The person, whoever it is that wants to employ you, would want to really know that, okay, aside your skill, they want to see what else you can actually offer. And you've heard of people having interview fright and all that. So basically, I would just sum this up and not make it complicated by telling you that if imposter syndrome, if it's left unchecked, forget perfectionism, yeah? If it is left unchecked, it can cause you anxiety, it can cause you depression, you know, it can make your life unhappy. So these things you when you like the point I made mention of first, you have to recognize it, and that's it. When you recognize it, 50% of your problem have been solved. Okay, so if it is non-skill, just like I explained to Raymond, if it is non-skill you're lacking in, you focus on your energy on improving your skill. And skill probably might not just be design, it could be you presenting and talking about your design to people. So whatever it is, they are all still grouped and categorized on that skill, and you have to master it. When you're done mastering it, then let's come back again and and do a presentation again to see how far we've actually conquered this thing called imposter syndrome. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mary, for answering everyone's questions. So if you still have questions, you can just indicate by using the hand raise icon. Thank you so much, Mary. I'll just go ahead with my own questions I want to that some people actually asked. I don't know if they are here, but just go ahead to like ask their questions. So just give me a second, please.